It's another divestment disaster.
Now available in paperback at e-readers, ISIS, Dark Incubus. The goddess next door gets enthralled in a romantic entanglement with an evil incubus in this all-new ISIS series adventure. Get your copy of ISIS, Dark Incubus in paperback and e-readers today. A black celebrity chef has been found guilty of killing his white wife and 2 biracial children on Christmas Day of 2017.
It was a really long standoff. We're standing in the parking lot near some officers, and suddenly we hear flashbangs go off and the unmistakable sound of gunfire, bullets whizzing by. One officer in this gunfight got hurt by shrapnel, either from a bullet or from something else. At trial, prosecutors described Anthony Milan Ross as someone obsessed with being a celebrity, and they say his life fell apart when his wife filed for divorce.
You better watch out. You better not cry.
It's hard to reconcile this tender video with what Anthony Milan Ross did just hours later on Christmas Day. Prosecutors say he shot and killed his 11-year-old son Nigel, his 10-month-old daughter Honora, and his wife Iris Ross. This week, a jury agreed.
As to count 1, first-degree murder, Iris Sutherland Ross, guilty. Signed, 4-person.
Once a guest on TV shows, the weight loss entrepreneur was found guilty on 3 counts of first-degree murder, as well as 20 other counts connected to his arrest at an apartment near 16th Street in Highland. A 6-hour standoff turned into a gunfight with officers, and it spilled over into a parking lot where a photojournalist and I were standing.
Shot fired. Shot fired. All the way back. All the way back.
One officer was hurt by the gunfire. Ross wasn't injured and surrendered.
Anybody can do this.
Ross was a weight loss author and entrepreneur who appeared on The Doctors and Good Morning Arizona in the months before the shootings.
Once you start to eat clean, you taste food in a way that you've never tasted it before.
He says his vegan lifestyle helped him lose more than 275 pounds. Prosecutors say he became obsessed with his celebrity and dependent on income from his wife to keep up a celebrity lifestyle. So when she filed for divorce, it all came crashing down. Prosecutors say Ross planned the...
Now, in this criminal trial that took place recently, Anthony Milan Ross was convicted of 3 counts of first-degree murder in the deaths of his white wife and his 2 biracial children, and was also convicted of aggravated assault and 17 counts of aggravated assault on police officers in the standoff as related to the confrontation between him and the police after he murdered his family. Now, after being convicted of these crimes, Anthony Milan Ross is in the custody of the Arizona County Jail and is waiting for sentencing as related to this heinous crime. Now, the police in Arizona thought that this was just an isolated incident as related to Anthony Milan Ross. However, as people started to dig into his background, they soon found out that Anthony Milan Ross had been participating in abuse of a previous family that he had walked away from in 2003.
Our big story on 12 News at 5, a hidden past. Tonight, we hear from the daughters of the man accused of killing his ex-wife and children on Christmas Day.
The 2 women say Anthony Milan Ross abandoned a previous family in Missouri and kept them a secret from his children and his wife right here in Phoenix.
They tell Team 12's Jessica DeNova that they endured a monstrous childhood. Jessica?
Counseling and therapy, that's how these sisters say they moved past the abuse they claim they suffered at the hands of Anthony Milan Ross. Though he ran from his past and perhaps suppressed an evil inside him, his daughters say it's clear his mental and behavioral issues came back to haunt him and the family he lied to for years.
Kept us a secret, a dark dirty secret.
That family, 4 girls and a wife, abandoned in Missouri back in 2003. Court documents show their mother, Nicole Ross, filing for divorce in St. Louis 5 years later. Her earnest, diligent attempts to locate him unsuccessful. Anthony Milan Ross would go on to marry Iris Sutherland in 2009.
Between 4 and 7 years into their marriage, Iris discovered that Milan had a previous marriage and that he had abandoned and to be with Iris. And Iris felt the breach was that she didn't have a choice.
But Iris got out, divorcing Ross in September with joint custody of their children. A talk with the women who Ross kept a secret may have pushed Iris to fight for sole custody of Nigel and Honora. Those women devastated to discover the man who fathered them is now accused of murdering Iris, Nigel, and Honora on Christmas Day.
I am horrified and my heart is broken for Miss Iris's family.
His eldest, Shalonda Ross,
Punching, choking, slapping.
Telling 12 News she still has nightmares of the days staying home from school until the bruises were gone.
He had this story about how he lost all the weight.
Milan Ross crediting his vegan plant-based diet for his dramatic change, but his second eldest, Ebony Ross, says their dad's use of food, inspiring strangers to live healthier lives,
He would withhold food from us,
is a reminder of the torture they suffered as children.
blow the smell of the chili cheese dogs in our face. We would only get butter and sugar rice for that entire year.
These sisters saying silence is what gives abusers power, and though they couldn't share their stories with Iris, they hope to reach victims of domestic violence who still have a chance.
Please don't think it can never be you, because you will wake up one day and you'll feel like you're in a nightmare.
Both these women tell me they are more than willing to share their truths on the stand if Anthony Milan Ross goes to trial for the Christmas Day murder of Iris, Nigel, and Honora. Live in the Alert Center, Jessica De Nova, 12 News.
Now, that family in 2003, Anthony Milan Ross had four children, and as he had 4 children with another white female, I believe, I'm speculating here, it might be a black female depending on what it looks like, but the whole thing is he had another family, and as he had that relationship with that other family, he physically abused that family until he eventually wound up abandoning that family in 2003, showing a clear pattern of behavior that is extremely antisocial. Now, the people in the South where Anthony Milan Ross used to live, and the Arizona police see the behavior of Anthony Milan Ross as an isolated incident. However, when I take a critical examination of the behavior of Anthony Milan Ross, it definitely fits the pattern and profile for beta males that I talk about in my book, The Man Crisis. And it's clear to me that Anthony Milan Ross, even before he wound up murdering his family in Arizona, was a ticking time bomb who was simmering and boiling in anger as related to possible issues in his past. And as he was simmering and boiling in that anger, he basically took out his anger on his wife and his 4 children. And after taking out his anger and frustration on his wife and 4 children, he basically looked to run away from his problems. And as he ran away from his problems, he basically again went to Arizona. And as he went to Arizona, he then became a celebrity chef. And as he became this celebrity chef and gained a lot of acclaim as related to his plant-based diet, that led to him winding up losing lots of weight. He wound up losing lots of weight and becoming very slim, and he had gained some celebrity status. However, as that celebrity status started to wane, that's where this man started to simmer and boil in anger once more. And as he simmered and boiled in anger once more, he then was deeply frustrated because he could no longer go out here and be the man he wanted to be. No, he couldn't be that man with that high status as a celebrity anymore, and that was something that deeply frustrated Anthony Million Ross, frustrated him because now instead of him being able to be a man for his new family with his white wife and his biracial children, he basically was frustrated because he had to live off his white woman, and as he had to live off his white woman, he was feeling emasculated as a man, and as he felt emasculated as a man, seeing that he no longer had influence or celebrity status, this is what I believe led to Anthony Million Ross basically becoming so frustrated and so angry that he wound up eventually exploding in a rage when his white wife finally told him that she was going to file for divorce. Now, this woman probably thought, oh, I can just file for divorce, not understanding that the male she was dealing with was a ticking time bomb that had already exploded in the face of one woman and basically wound up again explode. But in that case, he basically just left. But in this case, he was deeply frustrated because he had lost his celebrity status. He had been emasculated by living off his woman and basically had lost all of his ability to go out here. This man was, again, deeply frustrated, and this is what led to this man exploding into this rage, a rage where he wound up taking the life of his wife and his two children in an extremely violent fashion, then getting into a standoff with police, where he eventually wound up surrendering, and after shooting a police officer, again wound up surrendering, and he wound up surrendering, and he tried to make everything look like everything was okay by showing again a video a day after murdering his wife and children of him and his sons wishing everyone a Merry Christmas, trying to keep up the appearance that things were going good, but things weren't going good for this black man. No, things weren't going good for this black man who went out here and was again looking to run away from his past with his possible black family with a white woman. But the whole thing is that his past behavior wound up manifesting once again because this man didn't have the proper coping skills, and because he didn't have the proper coping skills to be able to navigate through his emotions, be able to deal with problems, and be able to set a new course, because he was a celebrity chef, but the whole thing is with celebrity, fame is fleeting, and this is what this guy didn't understand. He didn't understand that fame is fleeting, and yes, you can be popular for a minute, but once that minute is over, you're basically going to have to find another way to make a living, and that's why smart guys who are in entertainment always try to find their next job before their last one runs out, and their connections run out as well. One of the things smart guys do is understand is that you're not going to stay on top. No, you're not going to stay on top. And that's probably what happened here with Anthony Million Ross. He thought he was going to go on forever. But from my years of studying the entertainment industry, if you do get up somewhere and get popular, you're popular for only about 2 to 5 years, but you've got to live the rest of your life. So once that 2 to 5 year window is over, you've got to have a contingency plan to continue to make revenue. And sadly, this guy didn't have that ability to make that revenue. And that's what led to him getting upset about having to live off his woman. And when his woman decided to participate in basic female nature, which most white females will do, is if they see that the black man isn't able to make money anymore, they go out here and look to get away from the black man. What happens is that guy is basically left in shock, and most men are left in shock. And this guy was left in shock, not understanding that what happened with his wife is that she was tired of carrying him. She was tired of carrying him and saw no way to keep the relationship going. So she decided to end the relationship, not understanding that when you file for divorce, you're dealing with and a man doesn't have a job. that man becomes even more frustrated, more angry, and again, that leads to some of these men exploding in rage, and that's what sadly happened here that led to the deaths of this man's entire family, and led to this man almost, I think, about 7 years later, winding up getting convicted of this crime of murdering his family, and possibly now will be facing life in prison, where he will go from being a celebrity chef to now being a prison housewife, making recipes like doo-wop cakes and bricks and burritos and all sorts of sandwiches and stuff like that, with Little Debbie snack cakes, ramen noodles, packets of Crystal Light lemonade, packets of Crystal Light tea, Taster's Choice coffee, Keef coffee, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle pies, off-brand lemon lime drink, off-brand grape drink, off-brand kiwi strawberry drink, off-brand mango drink, off-brand fruit punch, off-brand apple juice, off-brand Oreo cookies, off-brand duplex cookies, off-brand vanilla wafers, off-brand ginger snaps, on snack pack puddings, beef summer sausage, beef jerky with cheese, Fritos chips, flaming hot Cheetos, pickles, and packets of chicken, packets of soy sauce, packets of sriracha sauce. He's going to be a housewife in there making cheesecakes and making cakes for people as related to recipes, and he'll not be having ability to have that plant-based diet because all they got is junk food in the commissary, and that's all you can eat because the food in the prison is basically slop. So this guy is going to go from being a celebrity to basically rock bottom, and again, all because he was a man who didn't understand how to be a man and didn't get the coping skills he needed, and that's what led to this man going from being at the top of society as related to being a celebrity chef to basically cooking his life and cooking his entire thing. This guy basically messed up his entire life. He's now, again, going to be an inmate for the rest of his life and be somebody's housewife. That's the sad fate that happened to this chef who went from being a man at the top of the world to winding up sadly becoming a tragic man in crisis. Now, if you want to learn to identify the antisocial behavior of a beta male in order to help someone in your family or be able to learn how to identify these predators to avoid them, you can pick up my book, The Man Crisis, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find The Man Crisis at other online booksellers like Draft Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and big box retailers like Walmart and Target. And if you want to see me make more videos talking about the man crisis as related to divestment disasters like this one, you can drop a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and Kindle, Stop Simping in Cyberspace. Learn how to avoid predatory females like Instagram models and e-girls in their virtual con games with Stop Simping in Cyberspace. Get your copy of Stop Simping in Cyberspace in paperback and Kindle today. Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited, The Man Crisis. Learn why so many men are struggling to find their way in an increasingly gynocentric world in The Man Crisis. Get your copy of The Man Crisis in paperback and Kindle Unlimited today. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.